Three, two, one. Welcome to Pages, Pictures, and Panels. I'm your host, Tildian, with my co-host, Roach Boy Red.
Yo.
And it's Sunday. We are getting into a pretty meaty episode, and we're going to start off with a Fox retrospect. The X-Men movies are some of my favorite movies of all time. We're also trying out some new productions today, as you guys are seeing. We got our logo in the back behind me. So, Red, you ready to get into this?
Definitely am. All right.
Wonderful.
So I was thinking we could do it like, I have a few different parts of like each movie that I would like to talk about, and then I figure we can give them like a rating and blah blah, all that. But if you want to go first, honestly, let's start with the first X-Men movie. How'd you feel about that one as a whole?
As a kid, when I first watched it and stuff, to be honest with you, I think that it's hard to even have cross thoughts about it because it started such a revolution. X-Men hit at the box office and it just changed the world. It changed cinema forever, to say the least. It changed the trajectory of my life because literally, look at us sitting here. I honestly think that X-Men movie is the reason that you and I are sitting here, or any other podcast team sits around and talks about movies, even if it's about other superhero movies. The godfather of all superhero movies that started the phase that we are living in right now is the X-Men movie from the year 2000. So I think it's monumental. What about you, Red?
I can definitely agree with that. Like, it was it was a movie we needed, and like it might not have been the best movie. It definitely did not age well, but like you said, it ushered in a new superhero era. And like, I've been a comic fan literally all my life, but
Yeah.
you don't have content like this to talk about all the time. Like, you don't get these hype trains and these rumor trains and everything starting over comics. That's what the movies did. And as much as the MCU changed a lot of the formula and fixed a lot of stuff about Marvel movies, it wouldn't be here if it wasn't for those very Marvel movies it's fixing. So, like, I can honestly say that they, the X-Men movies as a whole were a fantastic ride. X-Men 1 as a whole is just such a legendary piece, as many problems as there are with the movie. And
Yeah.
like, uh, things I like about the movie, definitely, I love the Magneto Holocaust entrance that they
Yeah.
do, like the intro to the movie. And I love that, like, it even gets a call back in First Class and stuff, and even explored deeper. Like, when we get to
Yeah.
First Class, I can talk about that movie a lot. It's amazing. But
It's my favorite. Oh, second favorite. But continue.
but definitely X1 was super corny, and Magneto's plot was absolute dog shit. He just wanted to like turn people into mutants. He turned the senator into a mutant and then just leaves him alone for the rest of the movie in a prison cell so he can just get saved. He's not being monitored, nothing's happening. It was such a
He's
bad plot. But and then like we had some perfect portrayals. Like that movie gave us Patrick Stewart. And
Yeah.
that's to this day top 3 casting choices for any Marvel movie of all time.
They gave us Hugh Jackman that movie too. We got everybody that movie. Ian
And
McKellen.
and like Hugh Jackman ended up a great Wolverine, but in that
Yeah.
movie, he was one of the weakest performances. They just made he was so skinny and weird looking, and
Yeah.
he just felt like he was barely even in the movie, which bothered me because Wolverine is what made the hype for the X-Men in the olden days.
Yeah. Also, his hair was horrible in that first movie. Like
And
the hairstyle, fucking sideburns.
And that's the prime example of sometimes things from the comics do not translate. Because like that
Yeah.
was a perfect Wolverine hair look from the comics, but it looked like dog shit on the screen. It was
Yeah, dude.
hideous. Uh
That
and then like you said, Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen, one of the most underrated people in that movie. Rebecca
yeah.
Romaine, I guess Rebecca Romaine Stamos at the time as Mystique was
Yeah.
amazing. Absolutely amazing. Nothing like, well, I guess she's decently similar to the comics, but they gave her a lot of change ups. Every single one
Yeah.
of them worked. And there were a lot of fantastic things about her that, yet again, once we get to First Class and stuff, Jennifer Lawrence ruined a lot of things about Mystique for me in the movies.
Really, this is what I'm interested to hear. I like Jennifer Lawrence. We just rewatched. I dug it. I'm very interested to hear what you got to say about that. To close out X1,
Uh, a lot of dog shit fucking portrayals, a lot of good portrayals. Cyclops always sucks. James Marsden is trash. I hate him. Uh, Sabretooth was awful. Toad was awful. Magneto's plan was terrible. Overall, I'll give the movie a 6 out of 10. And it's only a 6 because of how monumental it was.
I can agree about the horrible portrayals. I will shout out Tyler Mane for his portrayal of Sabretooth just because he wrestled for WCW before and I love pro wrestling. So
He's done a
that's
lot,
dope.
and he's done a lot of really good horror movies. He's played a lot of the killers and the reboots of a lot of classics. And aesthetically, he looked great,
Yeah.
but he was just such a worthless character and had no relevance to the plot. Even Wolverine's story, he was kind of irrelevant in.
Bryan Singer, was he not the director for that movie?
Yep. And then
Yep.
the only one he didn't do of the first three was the third one because he went to do Superman Returns.
Wow, we all know how that turned out.
Yeah. Brandon Routh was a really good Christopher Reeve Superman, but the movie itself was terrible.
I'd like to flip a coin to see what movie is shittier, Superman Returns or X-Men The Last Stand.
I would definitely say Superman Returns. X-Men Last Stand at least had some really bright points.
I actually don't think Last Stand is shitty at all. I just know the public perception of that movie is like so.
Uh, I have opinions on that movie. It's definitely not my least favorite X-Men movie, that's for sure. And that comes
Yeah,
in the good saga when the fucking after the reboot.
makes sense. Makes sense.
But X2,
Decent, tied together a lot of loose ends. Very dragging at times. The whole Alkali Lake shit. I gotta be honest with you. I just don't care about it. Like, I like the now. I was just saying this about we were watching Ozark, and I really hate it, with the exception of WandaVision. I hate when they take an entire episode of something or take an entire fucking quadrant of a movie and go backwards and show me 10 years ago. If it's not like elemental towards the fucking ending of the movie, I don't give a shit. Like, I'm just not one of those dudes. So like the whole Striker deal and like his son, I've got to be honest. I don't really, now that I'm really like digging into it, I don't really like that movie.
well, that's crazy because in my notes I wrote it is the best of the original trilogy. Uh, Before I even get into details, I gave it an 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh my god.
Wolverine, every scene Wolverine was in, I thought was fantastic. I loved his backstory. Stryker felt like such a menacing villain for just being a human. Like,
That's true.
everything about that movie, for some reason to me, I just loved. And, like, it added a lot of really good movie characters. Like, that movie gave us Iceman and well, they had Pyro and Iceman in the first movie, but they
Yeah.
were glance and you'll miss them type characters. But them being in
Yeah.
the second movie, him and Pyro were fantastic. Pyro was he was the only useful member of the Brotherhood besides Magneto.
See, that story I enjoyed. I kind of forgot about that part of the movie.
Or like when they go to Iceman's house and the cops shoot Wolverine in the fucking head. That was
Yeah.
insane. Uh
Worst one.
yeah, like it was so cool. And like the fact that Magneto like acknowledged him almost immediately was like as a kid I was like, "Oh, that's crazy. Magneto's someone you don't fuck with and he fucks with this goofy ass little 16-year-old." But
Yeah, that shit was.
that and I absolutely loved Nightcrawler in that movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fucking
Yeah. Yeah.
the opening scene in the White House was it's still one of the coolest visually one of the coolest scenes in a Marvel movie. Like it felt so compelling for what the X-Men story was about and what the second movie specifically was going to be about after that scene. And that guy's a perfect Nightcrawler. I am Kurt Wagner. Like, his voice was perfect, his portrayal was perfect. He played like the scared, sniveling person, but like also the parts of the movie where he needed to stand up, like him grabbing fucking, I think it was Rogue who he teleported out of the X or out of the Quinjet to grab out of the sky. That scene
Yeah.
was nuts, and like it in that scene you actually see his character like glow up instead of being the scared guy hanging out in the church at the beginning. And that
Yeah.
was fantastic. It sucks that he never came back. It was because the actor didn't want to sit in a chair and do his makeup for 4.5 hours, which
Yeah.
is kind of a shame because he was pretty perfect.
Pretty
And
decent.
I
How about that ending in the White House?
what's up?
How about that ending scene in the White House? That's my favorite scene of that whole movie, like where like they appear and like they do the whole public service announcement deal, like
I,
talking to the president.
I honestly forgot that scene happened, and yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah,
Shit is
honestly,
very
most things about that movie hit really well for me, but I understand where you're coming from. After we got the like reboot saga, that movie, the original trilogy, definitely as a whole, you see the flaws with it more.
yeah, absolutely,
But
absolutely.
but like I said, as a whole, I gave that movie an 8 out of 10 because I thought a lot of it was absolutely nuts. Especially, I didn't even mention the crazy psychic mind battle that Xavier had with Stryker's kid. That
Yeah,
was wild. In to your to your point, I guess also in
yeah,
Apocalypse, the mental battle with Xavier in Apocalypse was way crazier. So
for sure. And I love the mutant on mutant contact. I think like any movie where it's not like hand to hand or like person on person. I don't know. I like Stryker as a villain, just not as a main villain. Like I almost felt the same way originally with Zemo when I first watched Civil War.
Civil
But
War, I fucking hate Zemo. He was such a pitiful dog shit villain that didn't even have a plan, and somehow it still worked just because Tony Stark is a fucking pussy. And it made me so mad. But Falcon and Winter Soldier Zemo fixed
awesome.
fixed everything I hated about the character. And the second he put on the mask and started just fucking blowing people away with a handgun, I was sold.
Yeah.
I was sold for the rest of the series.
Turkish delight.
Try it. It's it's a delicacy in my country.
Fucking horrible wax candy.
Yeah, that shit's disgusting.
Fucking gross. Fucking but yes, to round out X2, I give it a 6 out of 10. You gave it an 8 out of 10.
I just spilled ass
X.
all over my desk.
Oh,
But yeah. Yeah, and I definitely agree with your rating uh to an extent, so I definitely understand where you're coming from.
word ditto. No, I get why people like the movie and stuff. I don't know. I have like a fucking I'm a stickler for like dry story points at times. Like I don't know. I just didn't give a shit enough about the whole fucking like Wolverine Lady Deathstrike connection. None of that shit. Like I just
Their
didn't
fight
care.
their fight was cool, and it was probably the most brutal way Wolverine's killed someone in the movies.
I would have taken him
Until
just fighting
Logan.
because
Wait,
they
what?
didn't give us.
What's up? You broke up.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't give us enough about her character in the movie to make me give a shit about what they did give us.
And then when
Outs-
they and then when they dove into her character in Wolverine, what is it? The Wolverine? Is that the sequel? Where he's in Japan?
yes,
Fucking when they dive into her character, she's a completely different character, so they just do away with everything that was Deathstrike.
she's in that.
Yeah, I forget which sister she is. I think she's the one who you think might be a villain the whole time,
Yeah.
not the one he was trying to bang. But,
Huh.
but yeah, so overall, X2 probably It's definitely my favorite of the three. Probably the best quality, even if it is like you said, it is a lot of dragging. It's a lot of talking. And at one
Yeah.
point, when they're in like that bunker, they're just
Hmm.
running through tunnels, and it just cuts to different groups running through tunnels for like 40 minutes, it feels like.
Fucking dragging, dude. Like I can't. I don't have the wherewithal to watch stuff like that anymore. But yeah, that's X2 for you, ladies and gentlemen. Moving on to X3.
X-Men 3, The Last Stand. What are your
Yeah.
feelings on that one?
Honestly, my personal favorite of the three originals. It just shows up a lot of plot stuff. There are a lot of like empty things left open. But I guess they kind of try to sew all that up in the next trilogy that we're about to get to. But yeah, I enjoyed Gene there, fucking smoking Scott. That shit was crazy.
Off
Um,
screen. Just
all, they left
absolutely, absolutely disrespects the guy.
they left it up to the imagination, man. I like the final battle. I like Iceman and Bobby Drake fighting each other. Um, I said the Iceman and Bobby Drake. That's the same person.
Yeah, Iceman and Pyro.
That yeah. Um, yeah, that was a great battle. I liked Kitty in this. Kitty Pride, she was fun. Juggernaut, pretty fun. The only thing I didn't really give a shit about in this one, heavily and heavy on the didn't give a shit, was that fucking bald kid from fucking AI or well, not
Oh,
Haley.
yo, he's one of the Morlocks. You remember in the 90s cartoon, the little green one who had like the warts all over his head who could steal powers?
I think so. That sounds big, like really familiar.
His name's Leech, and and that's who that kid is actually.
He fucking sucks. And I fucking hated him, and I wish he wasn't in the movie. I just wish that the movie did not have that character in it at all,
I
or the
I wish the movie didn't have the mutant cure subplot as a whole.
because it's
Uh,
very
I wrote that the cure is a dog shit subplot and is based on Magneto's ending. It's not even a permanent cure because like he gets hit with it by Beast at the end, and then
yeah,
in the ending scene where he's at the chessboard, you see the fucking chess piece wiggle when he fucking puts his hand up to it, implying that
yeah.
he still has powers.
Which, not to mention, in Apocalypse, it is or not Days of Future Past. It is proven that he does get his powers back for sure.
Exactly. And I feel like the cure was honestly just like a shitty plot device that was meant to give him a purpose in the movie. Because otherwise,
Yeah,
Magneto wouldn't have been a villain in that movie. He was on Xavier's side the whole time up until Jean killed him.
yeah,
And it also drove a shitty, even deeper subplot where Rogue was fucking crying about wanting the cure. And I personally hated Anna Paquin as Rogue. I can't wait for us to get a proper Rogue and hopefully the MCU.
yeah. It's coming. Uncanny X Men is definitely going to give us one.
But
Um,
the
eh,
one of the early scenes in the movie with Angel always
yeah,
bothered me that he filed his fucking wings off as a kid because he thought they were ugly. And then his whole life, his dad's telling him that he wants to cure him because of how fucking vile this kid is because he's a mutant. What the
yeah.
fuck is his dad looking at? This guy looks like a fucking legit biblical angel, man. Like he's fucking beautiful. He's majestic. Like, fuck you, guy. You're ugly, you old saggy piece of shit.
I have to say, you're like a fucking unicorn living upstairs, and you just want to fucking shave the horn. Weird. I
And
don't
like,
like the whole. Oh, I think the kid's weird. I think the fucking dad's weird. I think they're all man. I wouldn't even. Why do you still live with him? You
yeah,
look like
like
a.
fuck that guy. You're like 30, bro.
I have to say, fucking fly away, leave the nest, you fucking crow. Like leave.
Uh, the Jean Grey flashbacks in this movie when they go to meet her parents, that
Yeah.
is the first recorded de-aging CGI, and it was
Mm,
2006. It's really fucking unsettling now, but
wow.
back in 2006, that was ahead of its time. That was fantastic de-aging for that, and it looked better than it did in X-Men Origins Wolverine.
We don't have to cover those tonight, do we? That
No,
movie is like
no.
that.
We can maybe cover Logan in the future, but I don't even remember the Wolverine, and X-Men Origins sucks.
Yeah, X-Men Origins can't fucking stand. I don't know if I don't like X-Men Origins or Captain America, the first one, the first Avenger more. I can't
That's
stand.
that is insane to me because First Avenger is so spot on perfect, and Wolverine is dog shit. They turned Deadpool into Baraka, and like Ryan Reynolds was fantastic before they fucking fucked. They just made him into a monster. Uh,
Yeah.
I will say though, like Will.I.am in that movie was cool. I liked him. I loved Sabretooth. If they brought him back for the MCU, I'd take that.
Yeah.
He was enjoyable. He was a dickhead, so that was fun. But uh yeah, fuck that. We can cover Logan in the future, but fuck the first two. Uh
I mean, and I like Logan. I just, man, that Wolverine, that first Origins movie is just
bad.
abysmal. I did like, oh my God, Liv Schreiber.
Yeah, yeah, he was amazing, bro. He was such
Uh,
a good Sabretooth, like, and I always loved the subplot that him and Wolverine are brothers.
yeah.
Like it felt like it was so fitting, and it made you feel for both of them on both ends, even though Sabretooth was still a psycho.
Isn't that acknowledged in a deleted scene, Wolverine, that they're brothers?
Yep.
Yeah. I choose to say that scene's not deleted. That's what I choose.
Fact. There's a lot of scenes like that in the MCU, I feel like. But
I choose about fucking not to go too far left, but I had to because I wanted to talk to you about this anyway, and we'll probably talk more off the show about it. But I just saw a fucking deleted scene from the Amazing Spider-Man, and it was like it was Amazing Spider-Man 2 actually, and it's where Peter is going to see Harry at Oscorp, and like Harry's working on the suit that actually is like the Green Goblin suit, and he's explaining what the suit does. Like that the suit will fucking like if you can have broken bones, the suit will not only heal your body but augment you at the same time to be able to be superhuman. Like it gave purpose to the suit and like just I don't know, like had small nuances like
so
Felicia.
do you know what
Yeah,
the subplot for that suit actually was because in the script for the Amazing Spider-Man 3 before that got canceled, it was gonna
yeah.
we were gonna find out that Norman Osborn was alive and he was a head in a jar like Futurama, and he was gonna get put on that suit as a body.
Holy fuck! So that was gonna be the True Goblin.
Yeah, and that would have been nuts because the Sinister Six was gonna be a part of that movie.
Yeah.
But
So then what was done because Harry was still alive?
wait, what's up?
I said, what would Harry have done because Harry was still alive?
Probably got killed by Norman or something. I don't know. I didn't mind Dane DeHaan, but I wouldn't have minded if he got killed off.
That's like a fucking t-shirt. Death to Dane DeHaan.
For real. And I'm a sucker for alliteration.
Word. Shout out Dane DeHaan though. I did like your portrayal of Harry Osborn, not of the Goblin, but I did like his Harry.
I
He was a
liked
good.
his goblin better than snowboard riding fucking 16-year-old creeping James Franco.
God, no relation, but yes, I had to. No relation.
Got me there.
Jesus. Yeah, man, that is the closeout for the first three X-Men movies.
Uh,
Moving on.
what's your rating? Wait. Yeah.
Hmm?
What's your rating for the X-Men or for the third one?
For the third one, I will give it. I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10.
All right, I gave it a 6.5 out of 10, which is half a number higher than I gave the first movie. But that first
Yeah,
movie, no matter if anyone says the third movie is the worst, the first movie
yeah,
is the worst.
yeah,
Like,
for
hands
sure.
down. So Storm at one point goes, "What happens when a toad gets struck by lightning? The same thing as everything else." And then fucking fries him. That's not a fucking lie.
But it's fucking funny for sure.
Yeah, like, got this bitch. But
Same thing as every.
on the bright side, we are to what I consider the best X-Men movie still to this date. X-Men
Yeah,
First Class.
nice, nice. Um,
Thoughts?
Origin story. We are clear now feel about those. It is my least favorite of the new well, the new series, the new saga.
Even over
Um,
Apocalypse?
I love Apocalypse. Love that movie.
There are some really good points in that movie, I'll admit. But we'll
I
get
love
to that. But yeah, we'll
movie.
get to that movie.
Fucking Psylocke in that movie's cool. Um, what else? What else didn't I like? I mean, it's nothing that I don't like about that movie. It's just my least favorite of all the future Fox ones. But it gave us Fassbender. It gave us McAvoy. All the portrayals that we come to like. We even get a Hugh Jackman cameo, which was cool, very brief. I like that. I like that he's not like a central point in those movies too much. I do feel like even like at times he's unnecessary, like the whole Days of Future Past where they like let him out of it. Like I could have did without that. But we'll get to that in a second. Yeah, man. I think that it was a good movie. I think that there's like a classic argument for the black actor who played what is his name, man. He had the baby fro and they kill him and then everybody argues like he's the one guy that can't die.
Oh, yeah. I forget what his name was, but yeah, I do. I forgot about that scene, and yeah, that was just ridiculous.
Yeah. I do think that a lot of their CGI stuff they did in that movie was spectacular. The chick with the butterfly wings and stuff, that shit was
Which
pretty dope.
she's playing Catwoman in the Robert Pattinson movie.
Nice, nice. Chloe,
Zoe
Zoe.
Zoe Kravitz, Lenny Kravitz's daughter.
Yep, yep, yep. Um, is that also Lisa Bonet's daughter?
Yep.
Fucking Aquaman's stepdaughter. Jesus. Fucking but yeah, it's just it's not anything bad about the movie. Wait, wasn't fucking Kevin Bacon the
He
villain?
Sebastian Shaw, and he was a damn good one. I loved him.
You know what? We're gonna fucking I was gonna give it a fucking 6 out of 10. I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10 just because they had fucking Mr. Footloose himself
And
as the
and
villain.
like he was a Nazi and shit. He was speaking German. Like when he fucking moves the coin, and my man just after he kills his mom, he's like wunderbar. Like
It's
he's so hype.
nuts. Yeah, but what do you think?
So we had very different opinions, which I feel like we have on these X-Men movies, which is surprising to me as much as we've talked about them. But
Yeah,
I my first note is it's the best X-Men movie hands down. Fassbender and McAvoy ended up great replacements.
mhm.
I won't say anyone's better than Patrick Stewart, but I do solidly believe Fassbender is a better Magneto than Ian McKellen. As great as
Yeah,
both of them are, like Fassbender is definitely he fits the Magneto vibe. And
absolutely.
he looks perfect for what I expect Magneto to. If they would just give him white hair, bring him in the
Yeah,
MCU with white hair, and he'll be perfect.
shit
Uh,
would definitely.
he was brutal. He during the Holocaust flashbacks, and even like when he's in the bar drinking and then just goes fucking Nazi killing. Uh,
Yeah,
one that scene by itself is amazing, and the duality they show between him and Xavier, because
yeah.
that scene happens, and then right after that, they cut to Xavier at the bar getting a drink, and then he's spending his time flirting with some chick based on his knowledge of a mutation. So like
Fucking
it
man.
shows the upbringing they've had, and I always loved. Jennifer Lawrence, not my favorite Mystique. She played Katniss Everdeen by the second movie, and
Yeah,
it was just not fitting for someone who's so worried about staying in the dark all the time.
yeah.
Uh,
Nah,
I feel like it was weird that the team members, it was such a B-rate team. Like,
yeah,
we didn't have any good X-Men really on the team besides Xavier and Mystique. And it worked really well. It being no name, they didn't have expectations set for them. Like my main issue with the first X-Men movie is that no one feels like their characters really at that point. And this movie, we don't have that thought. Like Havoc is maybe the most famous member of the team in that movie. And
Is
wait, what's up?
Beast? Is he in the?
Oh
He's
yeah,
in
I
there too.
forgot he's part of the team. Nicholas Holt as Beast, I do not like. I am a Kelsey Grammer advocate. His Beast is perfect.
Hell
Absolutely
yeah,
perfect. I didn't even say that when we were talking about X3, but cast
yeah.
him for Beast in the MCU.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, he can be too because they can just go with that universe that was created at the end of the next movie we're about to talk about, which we can get right into after I give my rating and you give yours. So, what's yours?
Oh man, I gave it a 9 out of 10. It's my favorite X-Men movie, hands down. I loved Kevin Bacon as Sebastian Shaw. His team was pretty cool, even though Emma Frost's acting was terrible.
Yeah,
Uh, Overall, yeah, I love that movie. But what about you? I
7 out of
know.
10.
What'd you say?
7 out of 10.
Oh, that's better than I expected. Oh wait, you
Yeah,
said you said earlier that it was a 6 until Kevin Bacon.
yeah. We fucking talked about Mr. Footloose. So I'm like, yeah, we're going to take it up to 7 out of 10. But yeah,
Oh yeah, I definitely 7 out of 10 is way less offensive than I expected it to be.
yeah. I'm actually going to have pretty good ratings for all of these ones. I like these movies.
Overall, well, yeah. Let's just go to the next movie.
Holy shit.
Days of Future Past. Uh, a lot of critics hate this one. It's really split down the middle for if you love it or you hate it as a fan.
Yeah.
But what are your thoughts on the movie?
I am on the love it side. I think it's fun. I think it is a lot of fan service going on. It's very end gamey as far as the fan service goes. Like they're just trying to give us everything we want in that movie, and I love that. They succeed as well. There's plot points that like you can nitpick. Not saying that we shouldn't because that's our job here on Pages, Pictures, and Panels, but as just a general viewer,
Oh, and
I feel
I'll
like
get
they
to
yeah,
that.
and but like outside of us, I mean, like for normal viewers, it's a fun ride. Like it's just a lot of X-Men fan service, and us as comic book fanboys, that's what we love the most. Fan
And
service. So
and didn't Bryan Singer do this one too?
I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure he did two of them. I don't remember which ones he did, but
Hmm.
uh it felt you it I if not they did a good job making it feel like the old X-Men movies because it felt very nostalgic.
Yeah. Hang on a tick. I am now looking this up because I was very curious. Yes, he did do Days of Future Past as well.
I thought so. Yeah, it felt like a Bryan Singer X-Men movie, which in this case wasn't a bad thing.
A return to form, a return to form. Hopefully, our boy, Mr. Evil Dead himself, does the same thing with Doctor Strange.
Oh my God,
Same.
I can't wait, bro. I heard, well, we can get to Doctor Strange after this, but I heard some real cool stuff about that movie today.
I cannot wait to get to it. My favorite part of our segment's Doctor Strange. Um, so where are we? We're on Days of Future Past. My rating for Days of Future Past, I'm gonna give it. You know what? I'm gonna go 7.5 out of 10.
Uh, it's funny you give it that rating. On my paper, I also have it as a 7.5 out of 10.
Yeah,
But let me dive into why, I guess. Uh, it was. I have a good few notes actually for this one. All right. First off, the Purple Sentinels from the 60s or whatever, they were garbage. They sucked so bad. I did not enjoy them. They were terrible representations. Also
yeah,
forgot when we were talking about X3, the representation of Sentinels in that movie in the Danger Room also sucked
yeah.
my dick. That was terrible. All we got was a decapitated head, and we thought we were gonna have actual Sentinels in that movie. The trailer was so misleading. Uh, but the Sentinels in the future sequences that were doing like the super adaptoid shit, they were
Nut.
awesome. They were fantastic. And like it was crazy that these weird fake Sentinels were better than the real Sentinels.
Fucking nuts, dude. Nuts. I love the future sequences in this movie. So cool to see the old cast return. I'm one of those guys who is a sitcom guy who always wonders what the family's up to after the show ends. So them giving us like an actual peek into like what's been going on with these characters and stuff after we, you know, almost 10 years after, more realistically 8, but like almost 10 years after we last saw them. So I enjoyed those future scenes. Yeah, you got any more thoughts on this one?
Fucking Peter Dinklage as Boulevard Trask. That was fantastic. Peter Dinklage is such a good actor. I mean, no offense by this, but he's such a good actor that you don't even realize that he's a little person most of the time. Like, his portrayals, Trask is so different from him. And if you
Yeah.
think about it, in X 2 or 3, I don't remember which one it was, Trask was like a big, really dark skinned black guy. And
Yeah.
like we all just forgot that because Peter Dinklage was so fucking awesome in the role. And like that
The
says
genius.
that says so much. This movie I thought was Kitty Pryde's best showing.
Yeah.
I liked how she was tied to the story. I didn't mind it because it goes back to like a lot of her ninja training and training in the mystical arts that she's done in the comics and whatnot. So that's pretty
Mm.
cool because she was part of like the Team Excalibur as well, and I forget who she was trained by, but that
Oh,
yeah, she's overall just pretty wild, and that movie didn't give her proper justice still, but it definitely did better than the previous ones. Uh,
yeah.
I wrote, why the fuck is Wolverine back as the main character again? This movie, why? He was gone and we were fine with it. Uh,
Yeah.
if they would have just left him out of this and gave us Logan, perfect. But I'm also never going to complain about Hugh Jackman and Wolverine screen time.
Fair. Fair
Uh,
enough.
the most bothersome scene in or parts of the movie as a whole is when Xavier's fucking shooting up with anti-mutant heroin. Like, what
Fucking
the
nut.
fuck? This guy just like blacks out on the steps and shit while he's all suited on this stuff. And like that that scene honestly though makes Wolverine or Logan and all the scenes in Logan with him and Xavier so much like more heavy because like in this timeline he did see Xavier like fucked up on some fucked up shit. And like
Yeah.
so he's seen him at his worst before and he again sees him at his worst in Logan. And I that's just it's a pretty beautiful like parallel. But
So wait. Here's my question. Do you think that the timeline in Days of Future Past, not the one that that the original cast ends up in, but the one that like leads into Apocalypse and all of that, you think that that's the timeline that leads to Logan too?
I think Logan is probably part of the timeline that died.
Yeah, the original one, like where Scott and all of them died and
Yeah,
all that.
yeah.
That's fair. That's fair. That's what I thought too. But that would have raised some interesting questions. You know what?
Because
That would.
because if the X-Men team were killed off in that timeline and it was the
Yeah.
team from First Class, Wolverine would
Yeah.
not give a fuck. He doesn't know any of those people. But
Yeah.
it would have to be his team for him to care.
Yeah. That makes sense. That makes complete sense, actually.
At least
Hmm.
in my mind. I don't know. We don't have any confirmation on that. But
Yeah.
last few notes, Michael Fassbender, yet again, he is like Thanos level compelling most of the time. Uh,
Yeah.
oh wait, we didn't even, I almost forgot. Fucking Quicksilver. The introduction of Evan Peters was this movie.
Ah, right.
Uh, he is a god tier speedster. That guy runs so fast that time stands still, essentially. That is overpowered. There is no Quicksilver in the Marvel multiverse that runs that fast besides him.
He
Quicksilver's
is my
been
favorite
like
ever. I want to throw that out there.
what?
My favorite on-screen speedster ever. I got to throw that out there.
I'll agree with that. I liked how Aaron Taylor Johnson in Age of Ultron's speed looked.
Yeah.
It looked more like what I picture Quicksilver's speed as, but
Mm.
as a whole, Speedster, like including flashes and stuff, yeah,
Mm.
Evan Peters looks the best, and or not. I wouldn't say looks the best, but is like portrayed the best with the theatrics of it all. The slow motion every time is perfect.
The
Uh,
best sequel.
once we get to what movie is it that is Apocalypse, the movie that Havoc dies?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that that scene is like it. That's the best Quicksilver scene of them all, and it shows how cool his power is in the MCU or in the
Yeah.
Foxverse, I guess, not the MCU.
Yeah. That's a pretty accurate statement.
And
So
overall, I felt like it was a perfect grand finale X-Men movie. If they would have not made Apocalypse and Dark Phoenix, this would have felt like a great end to the movie. They fixed the timeline up, they cleaned everything up, and at the movie,
yeah,
everything at the end, everything's back to normal.
yeah, I agree on that. It definitely could have been a nice closure point for sure.
But as you said, I gave it a 7.5 out of 10. I feel like it was perfectly average. It was a good movie. It was great for X-Men fans, and I think it would have been a fun ride for random people who just go to see the movie. It has action, story, emotion. Anything with fucking Michael Fassbender is gonna have some good emotion behind it.
No doubt, no doubt. Where are we?
We're we're at Apocalypse now.
X-Men Apocalypse. I think I gotta be honest, I don't really have many thoughts about this one that are negative. I'm just gonna go with a straight, and this isn't for press time at all. I'm just gonna be honest. I'm just gonna give it a 9 out of 10. I like the movie a lot. I do. Great portrayals. Gave us fucking a great apocalypse actor who is literally playing Moon Knight. Played Spider-Man 2099. His name is escaping me, and it's not that it's escaping me.
Oscar Isaac.
Thank you.
Yeah, Oscar Isaac. And also, I gotta shout him out because he's one of my favorite characters uh,
Yeah.
in the first movie of the new trilogy. But Poe Dameron from Star Wars.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
He
In a shit Star Wars trilogy at that, he still shined.
Yeah, like I definitely enjoy him as an actor, and his portrayal of Apocalypse wasn't bad. They just made him look like a baby in the armor. The armor was so big and stupid looking on him, and I felt like
Yeah.
that could have been done better.
Yeah, for sure. The design definitely could have been a lot more well put together. I agree there.
Uh, I know we talked about the Quicksilver scene, and that is probably the most fun scene in an X-Men movie. Which is crazy because it ends with the death of Cyclops' fucking brother.
Shit isn't. I don't know
But
if I like better than the breaking out Magneto scene in the previous movie. I think that one was a lot of fun in that kitchen too. Like we both said though, like every Quicksilver scene is just dope. Like every single one's dope.
did he have a good one in Dark Phoenix? I don't think so. I think Jean Grey shut him down right away.
Yeah, about to say he had a really cool sequence where he was like running up that fucking the whip deal and like she kind of just swatted his bitch ass. But
That
yeah,
sucks. That movie, that movie we can do quick because I do not enjoy that at all. Uh,
yeah, I was gonna. It might be my least favorite.
definitely for me. I wrote.
Yeah.
Wait, do you have any other thoughts on this movie? Actually,
Nope. 2 thumbs up.
all right. So we definitely yet again we had a different thought. Uh, I wrote it was the worst X film at the time, and then they decided for some reason to make Dark Phoenix. But
Took the cake.
I did not like that movie. But there were very good points, uh, very bad points also. Oscar Isaac, like you said, his portrayal was great. It was just his costume that was bad. It was a great costume. It was just too big for the guy.
Yeah.
But I feel like a bad point is how cheap the CGI looked.
Yeah.
Specifically Psylocke's blades and Storm's weather. I
Yeah.
Yeah, I took note of that. I think Sophie Turner as Jean Grey was she looks perfect. She has the perfect vibe, but something
Yeah.
feels off about her as a character. She should be a perfect Jean Grey, but she's not. I don't know what's she just does not have charisma on screen. Dark Phoenix was dreadful. She didn't play evil at all. She just seemed like a bitch. And
Yeah. Very tonal.
yeah, uh, Nightcrawler and Jubilee. Nightcrawler reintroduced, Jubilee introduced for the first time besides that one scene in X-Men 2. I thought Jubilee was fantastic. I loved her. And Nightcrawler wasn't as good as the original, but he was good enough. Cut his hair
Yeah.
so he gets rid of like the weird fucking Twitch streamer haircut. But
Yeah.
besides that, he'd be great. Uh,
At-
that movie had a 20-year time skip from Days of Future Past. Why does
you said it's
everyone why what?
you said it's a 1 year time skip?
A 20-year time skip.
Oh yeah.
It goes from the 60s to the 80s. Why is everyone the same age? Havoc is like should be 45, 50 years old in that movie. And he
Yeah.
looks the exact same. Like that X gene has to be doing something for their ages.
It's very possible. It's very, very possible if you think
Uh
about it.
I like the psychic battle between Apocalypse and Xavier. I
Yeah.
surprisingly like it more than his mental battle from X2. I said that earlier. But it bothers me that Xavier thought so hard in that battle that his hair fell out.
Yeah.
Like that's some Saitama from One Punch Man shit, and that's weird to me.
He just got. Now that you mention it, bro, maybe the XG does like preserve them a lot longer. Because if you think about it, in Logan, how old is Xavier?
He's pretty old because he's pretty ancient in X1.
He's like over. He has over 100 years old, bro.
Yeah, which is weird to think about because Xavier is not. I didn't ever picture him that old. I pictured him like 30 compared to the X-Men being teenagers in the original run.
Yeah, but see, like in like the fucking Fox movies, I'm thinking Patrick Stewart's in his like mid 40s, almost 50s in the first set of movies. So like,
Yeah,
if you and then like Logan being set a good what 50 years later.
but he also died and got a new body in X3.
Well, I forgot to cover that as well. I think that they just like completely glossed over that, and that was another shitty sub point that they just like said with.
You know why? Bryan Singer
Why?
didn't do that one because he left for fucking uh Superman Returns. And the
Yeah,
movie felt like he left after the script already started. So they
yeah,
were just filling in the blanks essentially. And it did not it felt like it was not pieced together properly. Uh
super jealous.
my last thought on fucking Apocalypse though is
Yeah,
why is Magneto kind of the villain of every single X-Men movie, all seven of them? But also, he does the whole conflicted villainy thing. Excuse me. He does the whole conflicted villainy thing where, like, he doesn't want to be a villain, but then tragedy strikes his life, and then he goes and does fucked up shit because bad stuff happened to him. Like, at some
yeah.
point, it has to stop being justified. Like, it doesn't
The
matter
fucking
if your family died, bro. You can't go fucking kill people. And like,
not.
if he's gonna do that every movie, he should just be a villain and stop trying to be the good guy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we need to write a fucking letter to Fox, man, to get them to get their shit together. Because I agree, that is
Fuck
very
them.
fucking.
Fuck Fox. We got Disney doing it now. We don't need them.
That is true. That is true. That is true. You got me there. The future is bright when it comes to the Uncanny X-Men.
My
So
my rating is a 4 out of 10. It is
Well,
the
that
I yeah, it is it's I did not like that movie.
wow. Well, again, we differ on that one, but I think we are probably come to terms pretty well on this next one. I'm just gonna skip even reviewing it and just give it a fucking 3 out of 10.
All right. So I gotta say a few things about it, but I didn't even take notes on this movie like I did the other ones. But
Yeah.
I like they got the comic accurate story for the most part in a nutshell. Even like the aliens in a nutshell. I'll say that at least they were done properly. Like it was a proper comic story. The Phoenix Force being portrayed as the Cosmic Storm was awesome. Uh, but the movie lacked everything. They killed Mystique, which she wasn't even that good of a character, but she was the leader of the team. So they killed the leader of the fucking team, which
Yeah.
Cyclops sucks. So he was a miserable leader and was distraught because his woman was going crazy, which
Yeah.
didn't even feel genuine because it felt like they were dating for like a year. So like I'm
Fucking
not gonna fucking believe this like I did with James Marsden and Femke Janssen in the originals. Uh,
yeah.
no good Quicksilver scene at all. No good Nightcrawler scene at all. Uh, yeah, there was just nothing good about that movie. I'm gonna say 2 out of 10.
And
Like it was significantly worse than Apocalypse for me. And if I gave Apocalypse a 4 out of 10, I'm surprised Dark Phoenix isn't a 1 for me.
yeah. Yeah.
X Men Origins is a 1 for me.
I don't I that one and Origins are just both in a horrible space for me. But I do like the movies as a whole. I'll watch it again, but if I have a choice, no, I'll skip that one for sure.
Yeah, but at that point, that covers all of our X Men movies, and
Mm-hmm.
well, we got through all 7 of them. Good ones, bad ones, ones we didn't agree on, ones we did.
I have a suggestion, and yeah, I have a pretty good suggestion because of you and I knowing what's on our itinerary for the night. I want to cover all of this stuff in detail, specifically our final segment. So my thing is, I think we should split this episode in half, and that way it covers time and everything, and cut it before Doctor Strange and fit Strange, Moon Knight, and What If into a separate episode.
Definitely, definitely. I'm glad you said that because that's a real good idea. Let's do that.
So I guess our next segment would be Venom Future. So what do you think?
Oh
Where are we
man,
going?
uh, I I hope the piece that went to the MCU in No Way Home doesn't go
Mhm.
back to the Sonyverse. That'll just feel like a cheap excuse to get the spider on his chest. Uh,
Yeah.
but I hope it takes over Andrew Garfield at one point, leaves Eddie Brock since they do that whole makeup breakup shit every movie. It leaves
Yeah.
him, goes to Andrew Garfield for a little bit, and then when it comes back to Eddie, it'll have that sense of justice actually instilled into it instead of falsely instilled like it was in Let There Be Carnage. And he
Yeah.
wants to have the spider emblem to be like Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. And
Yeah.
that gives
Yeah.
us Andrew Garfield in the Sonyverse, and that feels like a perfect place for him.
For sure. For sure. And I think that it's going to lead to more multiversal clashes. I think we are heading towards null. Um, I think that they're going to keep tying in Andrew Garfield as much as they can, and throughout Venom being associated with him, we will get more Venom as well. I think Dr. Michael Morbius will be brought in, and through the success of Endgame, No Way Home, the Avengers, and all these big team ups and stuff, they're going to keep bringing a lot of these characters in. So, yeah, I think Venom's future is bright, and I think we're going to see him very, very soon again. And I think we're going to start to see him in other projects teased.
Hell yeah. And
Breaking
we can save Tobey Maguire for another video, but I have heard a lot about him showing up in the near future.
Me too. Me too. I think we
But
got to get that tomorrow for sure. We should save it for the live episode.
I'm down. I'm definitely down for that.
Um, yeah, I think Venom up really soon, and hopefully the piece in the MCU does some unexpected stuff. Like I'd like to see it interact with somebody that isn't Spider-Man at first. Like, could you imagine we get an X-Men movie and like it happens there? Like, what if it takes over Wolverine or something? Like, do something different, because I feel like we're going to get the Spider-Man symbiote story over here in the Sonyverse. We don't really need it two different places, and I really do not want to see Tom Holland act like Bully Maguire. Like, I don't know.
Okay, so I this is a weird thought for me because I hate the way he's portrayed in the MCU, but
Mm.
there's always Flash Thompson, and I'm never opposed to Agent Venom.
Yeah, that could
Like
be that could.
like we've seen a lot of stuff from Flash Thompson in the movies where like his parents neglect him and stuff. A perfect
Yeah,
place for him would be the military. And if he's stationed somewhere like near Mexico or near South America, where the
yeah,
symbiote was dropped at that bar, he
yeah.
picks up the symbiote while he's stationed, and then he's like set up to be a symbiote while at war. Or he loses his limbs like he does in the comics, and then the symbiote finds him.
That shit would be pretty fucking sick. Now that I can get behind. It just has to be the right story for me. I
Yeah,
just I don't
like
think.
I want to like Flash Thompson, and I do not like this guy in the MCU. But I think
Yeah,
if they get a different writer than John Watts behind him, it might redeem him a little bit.
yeah, that's
So
fair.
that'd be cool. And last time we saw him, it was pretty much everyone telling him, "Fuck you, you're not really our friend."
Yeah, because he was trying to fucking go to that school with them, right? MIT.
Yeah. So like, hell, who knows what's even going on with any of that with the fucking Peter Parker being forgotten retcon.
Yeah, I'm actually ready to give that Peter Parker a break for a little bit and go catch up with Andrew and Toby, and then come back as favorites. So like, I kind of just want to like step aside for a while. We've done that since 2015. It's
Next
time to give it
time
a.
Next time we see Tom Holland, I want him to feel grown.
Yeah, I want to feel like we're coming back to it for a reason, not just an annual Harry Potter deal. So many movies until it's another actor or another
And
deal.
and I'm even down for Tom Holland to like be a cartoon version of himself in Into the Spider-Verse.
I've heard that. I heard it was supposed to happen in the first one. So
Yeah, so that would be cool because I think he would be the most fitting to be a cartoony Spider-Man of the three.
absolutely, he has the best voice for it too. Um, that leads me into, I guess, like, what do we think for Andrew? Do you think he's coming back MCU wise first, or do you think he's going to get the Amazing Spider-Man 3? Do you think we're going to see him on Disney Plus? Because I don't think it's a if we're going to see him again. I don't think.
It's definitely a win. It's definitely a
Yeah,
win. My honest thoughts are I kind of don't want an Amazing Spider-Man 3. Like,
yeah,
it's kind of one of those be careful what you wish for situations.
yeah,
We as the fan base as a whole
yeah,
hated, absolutely hated 1 and 2. And the fucking script that they had for the third one, oh my god, it was absolute dog shit even compared to those two. And the
yeah.
lizard wanted to turn the whole city into fucking lizards. But yeah, so
True.
like I don't think that's what we as fans really want. I think it's just what we think we want because Andrew Garfield himself is such a good Spider-Man.
Yeah,
But they did well imposing him into another movie. Let's do it some more. Put him in Venom. That's Venom 3 could be Spider-Man and we could get the Spider-Man in that verse. And I think it would be nice if he got a cameo in Morbius, actually. That's where I would like to throw my hat in the ring for his next appearance.
That would be dope. That would be. Now, see that I can get behind. Throw him, have him and Venom appear.
I would love
Eddie
it
appear.
because
I am all in.
and Morbius references Venom in the trailer, so
Yeah,
we know that that's an option.
yeah. About to say, go ahead, do it. Yeah, we know they're doing reshoots. Go ahead and just do that. Get that going. Get us there and see what we can get done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. So where do you think Andrew Garfield's showing up? I don't know if you feel the same way or if you think something different.
I feel pretty much the same. I'm hoping that we get it soon, though. I just don't want to have it go away for another year and have to wait it off. Let's just capitalize on it. Throw him in Morbius. If we're going to get an Amazing Spider-Man 3, get it in production a while. Let's just get it going. I need more Spider-Man. Strike while the iron's hot. I need more Spider-Man. And now in the multiverse of madness, we can have constant Spider-Man and constant Spider-Men, Spider-People, Spider-Beings. I don't know. I'm having Spider-Mania. So yeah, I think we get him soon.
And Secret Wars, man. Secret Wars is in our future. So anything can happen. I see that being a Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movie, but
Yeah.
Andrew Garfield's such a good Spider-Man, I would take him over Tobey Maguire. I don't think we need more than one again, but
Yeah.
Andrew Garfield I think would be a real good multiverse of Spider-Man. Even though I've heard Tobey Maguire is in Multiverse of Madness so many different times.
Yeah.
I
have to.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, they pick for the Avengers in the Multiverse of Madness too. I heard that's going to be a movie, an Avengers movie in the multiverse. So,
yep.
There's a
Yeah. So the future is crazy. The Sonyverse is it's never looked better. Venom and Morbius and them were not going to stand on their own without a Spider-Man. They kept bringing out all these villains, but the person who made these villains matter wasn't there. So what was there to make it matter at all? But
pretty.
I think based on the Morbius trailer having the Spider-Man poster, even though it was Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, I do think it's Andrew Garfield. The poster said murderer on it, which we all thought was because Tom Holland killed Mysterio. But
Yeah.
what if it's because Andrew Garfield, how he said he got bitter and dark and stopped pulling his punches? That's why he's a murderer.
Or what if they blame Spider-Man? Oh no, they don't. They don't. I don't know. I was gonna say, what if they blame Spider-Man for Gwen Stacy's death? But I'm sure that would have been a thing because he reappears to help that kid, and nobody was like, "Fuck you."
Yeah, you got a point.
Spider, fuck you. All right.
Damn. Yeah. That's a fact, though.
Shit would have been great. Yeah, we're getting them soon, man. That wraps up my thoughts for Andrew Garfield. What about you?
Me too. I definitely think Venom 3 is going to be his biggest appearance. I hope Morbius is next. That's about it.
And I am in wholehearted agreement of that. So, with that being said, do we have anything coming up this week? Some comic corners?
Moon Knight dropping, actually probably with this video, so they should be up at the same time. And
Awesome.
after that, we've actually dived into a lot of really obscure characters and stuff, but I think for the next episode after Moon Knight, I want to actually dive into Wanda, the Scarlet Witch, and try to give a little more insight into her before that movie drops. But yeah, other than that, you can follow me on Instagram at Roach the Boy Wonder, and that's about it.
We also have some new segments coming to this, what we're going to call the Pages, Pictures, and Panels Podcasting Network. It's a working title, so work with us. But I'm going to be doing a pro wrestling corner where we're going to be talking about everything pro wrestling in the week of pro wrestling, from New Japan to NWA to MLW, WWE, AEW, blah, 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 blah. We're going to be covering it all. Also some entertainment nooks, My girlfriend is going to be talking about some shows that we've been watching and stuff like that that are current. Raised by Wolves, The Gemstones, Sex in the Cities, and Just Like That, which is a great show, by the way. Don't just turn it away because you think it's for chicks, everybody, because it is stellar writing and it's so good. But we'll get to that on another episode. And part 2 of this episode probably will be coming ASAP. So this has been Pages, Pictures, and Panels. I'm your host, Tody N, with Roach Boy Red.
Have a good night, guys.
Peace.